The views and opinions expressed in this podcast are those of the individual guests. What is going on, my Ghost Squad? Welcome to the Armed Citizen Podcast Live. This is episode number 306. We are live on YouTube, streaming to over 150 countries worldwide. My guests don't know that. It might make them a little bit nervous when they hear that they're streamed to over 150, but probably only one's actually watching. So, and not many of them, that one, are watching. But we will we'll have a good time. If you're out there in the chat, let us know and say something out there. We don't know that you're out there unless you do. If you want to call or text in, yes, you can text into the show. Utilize the Ghost Tactical Hotline presented by our good friends Ryan and Shelly Gates over at Aegis Gun Care. That number is 530-364-4678. Go check out aegisguncare.com. If you're a veteran, really anybody, but especially if you're a veteran and you're in that hole, you're in the darkness and you're looking for that light, call me, text me, email me 24/7. I cannot give you medical advice, but I could probably be a pretty decent ear, talk you through some stuff. More importantly, I can just be there to listen if you need that. If you are looking to get to someone to get you towards the medical attention, please remember two things. One, you are not alone in this fight. You have a lot of brothers out here that are willing and able to help you in any way possible. And two, the world is a much better place with you in it. So please utilize the Veteran Crisis Hotline, 1-800-273-8255. Once again, 1-800-273-8255. You think I'd memorize that by now. Veterans Press, the number one. We are spotlighting, as always, the United States Marine Corps. If you have any questions on what it takes to earn the title United States Marine, see the website marines.com. And as always, we are a proud member of the Self-Defense Radio Network. Check out all of your favorite pro-gun, pro-2A podcasts over at selfdefenseradio.net. Let's get this off of my ugly mug and bring in the cohorts for tonight. Some of these people are, I did say this, they're wanted. They're up on the wall of the post office under America's Most Wanted. But yeah, there you go. Kyle is kind of trying to hide his face. So from Anderson Manufacturing, man, I tell you what, before we bring Kyle in, I want to tell you something. I hope you guys took advantage of their Labor Day event. I did. I got this in today. It's a little airsoft gun. I got this in today, put a couple boxes of ammo in it, of airsoft in it. And I tell you what, heck yeah, that Kiger is the real deal. I really am enjoying it. But from Anderson Manufacturing, the Pony Express himself. What's up, Kyle? How are you?
Hey, how's it going, guys? Thanks for having me on tonight.
Always, brother, always. I know that we weren't the reason why, but I know that last Tuesday and a couple other times that I even tried to get on, man, the internet was broken over on Anderson. I hope that sale went well for you guys. It looked like it did.
Yeah, it went really well, very well. So well, in fact, that we came back in today after Labor Day with a bunch of angry emails about this part was out of stock. This was out of stock. So, yeah, broken internet, but we are going to extend the sale till Friday. So, if you did miss guys, and you're out there listening, you got till Friday. We're going to leave it up till Friday.
I can tell you this much. There were several of us, including people in this room, Chris, last week after the show was over, we were all on our computers. Hilarious. We had like 4 or 5 of us all on our computers trying to figure out what was wrong because it wasn't working. The internet was broken. Finally, we got in a little bit later, but I know that I ordered a Kiger 9C Pro, and I know Chris did as well. Like I said, mine came. Did yours come in today, or did you get yours before today?
Yeah, my FFL got mine today, so I just went and picked it up.
I'm the same way. So it came in this morning, and went kind of straight to the range. And yeah, I'm telling you what, man. If you guys haven't shot a Kiger yet, you need to. But they've got everything over there. I mean, you know, everything. Is it side white still? I mean, everything on the site.
Yep, site wide, no restrictions, no promo code needed. So definitely at least go check it out. You never know what you're going to run into that you didn't know you need. So
now here's the problem. Here's the problem. Literally on the website, it says we do not ship to Illinois. I think that's exactly. I think you did that specifically because you don't want to send anything to Mike. It is what it is, Mike.
Mike ruined it for everybody in Illinois, man. Sorry about that, Mike.
And Nick out there is lying. He said that John's the most appealing ginger I've ever seen. No, sir. You need to start looking harder. I'm just saying, Nick. Start looking harder.
I don't know.
Nick, thank you very much.
You paying Nick? Don't answer that. Don't answer that. I do not want you getting in trouble for a solicitation or anything like that.
John's got that ginger mojo.
He's got ginger something going. I don't know if it's mojo or not. Speaking of which, standing on the corner in Winslow, Arizona, such a fine sight to see. It's John, the soulless ginger bastard. What's up?
What's up? And for those of you who don't know, that is Nick Lynch from the We Like Shooting podcast in there. And I love you, buddy. Thank you for the kind compliment. It is nice today. It's been getting cooler at night.
112, huh?
No, it's actually getting down to 90. So it's 90, 80. Yeah, it's great.
Nice.
Went and helped a buddy this weekend cut down some trees and burn them. And I saw the biggest scorpion of my life. It was the size of my hand, and the tail was the size of my
To be fair, his hand's the size of it's tiny. But hey, to each his own.
The stinger part was the size of my pinky, so it was an interesting. Yeah, it was a interesting weekend, to say the least.
I would imagine so. Yeah, I'm not a big scorpion fan. My wife is less of which. There's a story there to be told one day. I'll tell a story about a scorpion. It's situation we had when I was living down in San Antonio. For later time. But yeah, scorpions are no good. No bueno. No bueno. From the weirdest state in the union, the only state that has 4 letters but takes 2 people to spell it out, we got Chris from the 740. What's up, homie?
Hey, thanks for the invite. So
yeah, man.
Yeah, I got the Kiger 2. I took advantage of that sale. So that's cool. You're going until Friday with it. So
yeah, go check out AndersonManufacturing.com, guys. Great sale, like I said. And I don't know if this is something that we should be talking about or not, Kyle, but I don't know, Chris, I don't know how you did it. I found it easier to order the assembled slide and the frame separately. It actually came, I don't know why, but it came out with shipping under $290 shipped. If you order them separately instead of ordering them together, whatever. So if you're out there, you can get this, and this is the Pro model. I think you got the Pro model as well. Do you not, Chris?
Yeah, I got the Pro.
Less than $300 shipped if you go on AndersonManufacturing.com until Friday. Also got the availability of getting the AM10 that's right here. Are the Dissies out there as well? You got Dissies on the website?
Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Hell yeah. Love me my Dissy too. Plus, Like, now let me ask you this, because there was some questions last week about it, Kyle, and I know you guys do sell like blend lowers.
Yeah.
If they're available, does that 30% on even go towards like the blend lowers?
It does go. Blend lowers, I think, are sitting at like $28 right now.
Wow.
So
Yeah. Nice.
And a couple not blend lowers, like the 1776, I think, is around 29, somewhere around there. So
really, I might have to go pick a couple of those up. Those are pretty sweet lowers. I'm going to go get a couple of more of those tonight. Yeah, I think they were Blims, but I don't know, it was maybe 5-6 years ago. We got, I want to say it was like 4 lowers for $100 on like Black Friday or something. So I was like, okay, like I'm in, like I'm getting 4 of them. Yes, Marcus has brought up hashtag Pony Express 2024. John, you want to tell us about that?
All right. So for those of you who don't know, our hashtag Pony Express 2024 is to get Anderson Manufacturing to make a side-by-side 18-inch double barrel shotgun called the Pony Express that we want them to bring in the market in 2024, specifically in September of 2024. We'd love to see it around then. So go to Anderson Manufacturing on Instagram and Facebook and use the hashtag Pony Express 2024 to get them to make this thing, because we love Anderson and we want a coach gun from Anderson called the Pony Express.
It's the greatest idea that John's ever had. I'm not gonna lie. I don't like to give Ginger very much credit in life, but I'm gonna give him credit on that one. That's a pretty damn good idea. The Pony Express. I hope the Andersons say, great idea, Kyle. Let's roll with that. That'd be amazing, wouldn't it? John, I want to give you 2 minutes for the 2A. What's going on in the GOA lately?
Well, we had a bill from, or not a bill, a proposed legislation from our friends over at ATF and the Biden administration. And let me pull that up real quick. Our friends, quote unquote, are I want to make sure I read this properly. So this is the administration takes another life-saving step to keep guns out of dangerous hands. Is what they're putting
dangerous hands.
Yeah.
Yes.
So basically what the administration is doing is that they're going after us common folk who want to sell our firearms, and they are now wanting to make a profit on them. They want to classify us as FFLs now. So what they're saying is and this is the exact reading from their ruling. So offer for sale any number of firearms and also represent to the potential buyers that they were willing and able to purchase and sell them additional firearms. Repetitively offering for sale firearms within 30 days after they were purchased. So you buy a gun, you don't like it, you can't sell it after 30 days. Repetitively offering for sale firearms that are like new or in original packaging. So if you're a collector and you have a nice Colt Python that you never fired, they're going to go after you. Repeatedly offering multiple firearms of the same make and model for sale. And that's if you buy more than one AR or AK, they're going to go after you, or Glock. It's going after make or model. So if you buy multiple Glocks, you're going to get. And now this is the fun one. They made up a new term already. As a formerly, yeah, I know. As a formerly federal licensed firearms dealer, sell firearms that were in the business inventory or not transferred to a person's personal collection at least a year before the sale, addressing the so-called fire sale loophole.
Yes, I've heard of the gun show loophole, but they've gone and done themselves one up. The fire sale loophole.
Yeah. So
this is something like the pharmaceutical companies do. They make a drug for XYZ and it doesn't work, but it works for this other thing. Even though this other thing isn't a problem, what do? They create a new problem so that they have the drug for it. So I think that's what the ATF is trying to figure out. Like, they can do something. We'll just create something new to stop it before it happens. Well, that's brilliant, ATF. I wasn't aware that the ATF was there to legislate. Apparently they are.
They are not allowed to by our Constitution. You know,
This
it's
is
weird.
true.
On top of that, they're also trying for the 1,000% tax on all firearms and ammunition.
Of course.
So they're going after the basic things. You know, this fire sale loophole, this is what caught me, which just makes me laugh, is that if I'm because of now their zero tolerance policy where they're shutting down FFLs for minor mistakes. Now, I'm not saying all mistakes are minor, but they're for minor clerical errors. They're shutting down FFLs. So now you have a year from the shutdown, which means that if they tell them they're shutting down, they can't release their inventory. Do this fire sale loophole. Yeah,
that makes perfect sense. Now, G-Webs, I love G because G's always looking for a way around stuff. I'm not saying he ever does anything illegal. He's just looking to take shit and make it silver, right? So G says, so if you couldn't get approved to have a home FFL, all you got to do is sell a single new in the box Glock and you become an FFL, which is true according to what this is saying. But you can make that good because if you're an FFL, you can go and get suppressors and all that, still play with them while your stamp's going through because you're an FFL, correct? Just saying.
Yeah. And that's where this zero tolerance thing comes in, because they're also cutting down at kitchen top or tabletop FFLs. So they're going after, you know,
but they're basically saying that if you sell this for profit, you're an FFL. They're literally contradicting themselves.
Yeah. And that's what the issue, the big, for those of you who don't remember the days of the $89 Mosin, right? Mosins now go for $300, $400, $500. So now if I buy something,
how about the SKS that used to be nothing? Now they're $1,000.
Yeah,
or the M1 Grands that are going for $1,500 right now.
So for me buying at a good price and then deciding to sell it, just like, you know, other things that we buy and sell at good prices, but since it's a firearm, they're going to go after. So it's a ridiculous attack on our 2A rights from the Biden administration again, on the to go, and his ATF to go after you as a common citizen, not only with this new ruling, but also the zero tolerance FFL ruling, and going after the first we had the frame and receiver, the FRT trigger thing got dropped again. The court just ruled there's a stay on it now, but the court just ruled on the FRT triggers because they're like, well, according to your definition, there's no violation here.
Your definition,
right? Yeah,
that's right. That's right.
So just go support a 2A advocacy group like the Gun Owners of America. Go to gunowners.org, and there you become a member and help us fight for your 2A rights, guys.
Any update? I'm sure that if even you may not be able to say, but from what you're able to say, is there any update or any light at the end of the tunnel for pistol braces? Have you heard anything?
Nothing yet. The case is still going, so it's an ongoing case. Until I have further information, I'll pass it along.
Sounds good. Thanks. Good. Gunowners.org, GOA. Go check them out. You guys know that every Thursday, Saturday, and Monday at 10 a.m. on our YouTube community tab, we have the Pony Polls. The Pony Polls. Let's go have some fun. First one sent out today, or yesterday, I should say. Yesterday. Today's Tuesday. Yeah, today's Tuesday. Yesterday, it's got over 1,000 votes. Better band, Leonard Skinner or ZZ Top? Chris, we'll start with you. Skinner or ZZ Top?
Oh, man.
Tough.
I'm going ZZ Top on that one. I like a lot more of their songs.
I like it. Ginger, Skinner or ZZ Top?
That's a tough one, but
it is a tough one.
I'd have to go with the Sharp Dressed Man. I mean, the ZZ Top's got really bumping hits.
Yeah, they plus they're a Texas band, so they got that going for them. Kyle, I have a feeling you're going with Skinner, aren't you? You just have that look on your face. You're a Freebird guy.
I may be from Kentucky, but sweet home Alabama.
All right. No, I get it. I know. I mean, they're both great bands, and I love both of them. It comes down to I've seen ZZ Top in concert when I was younger, and what a show. Now, I understand that Van Zant's brother has been with them for a long time, and he does a great job. I've never seen Skinner in concert. I've heard they put on a great show. I really do like some of the songs. I like a lot of the songs from Skinner that most people made. I mean, they know, but it's not like the Freebirds and Sweet Home Alabama. I like Tuesday's Gone and Simple Man and all those. Those are great songs. Something about growing up in Texas, you heard ZZ Top everywhere, right? I mean, it was just everywhere. LaGrange, I mean, there's just so many. Then, I mean, like Sharp Dressed Man, Legs. I mean, I can go on and on. If I had to choose one, I probably have to choose ZZ Top. That said, 68% say Skinnerd and 32% say ZZ Top. Can't go wrong either way. Mandatory Carry out there, $3 super chat. Appreciate you, brother. You guys know that we do not ask, nor do we encourage super chats, but any and all super chats go to several different organizations we support that send care packages to our troops downrange. So thank you for that. I appreciate you very, very much. 68% say Leonard Skinnerd. It doesn't surprise me. It doesn't. And I couldn't care less which one would win because I like them both. But I guess my loyalty goes to ZZ Top if I had to. Let's see here. The next one, 2.2 thousand votes. 2.2 thousand votes. Who is the best villain? Joker or Darth Vader? Ginger, Joker or Darth Vader?
That was a tough one. And I'm just going to go with the Joker only because the range of the Joker and his schemes and everything. Darth Vader's got one thing. Joker's got tons. Yeah. Oh.
Yes, that happened, by the way, folks. Yeah, there's a private chat going on, and yes, that happened. No, I get it. Heath Ledger's, so Jack Nicholson back in the early 90s, great Joker, obviously. Heath Ledger took it to a whole new level and brought the darkness of the Joker to the Dark Knight. Then Joaquin Phoenix. Have you guys seen the Joker? Like, I know Joaquin Phoenix is a weird dude, right? Like, he's a weird dude, but talking about a phenomenal actor. He was great in Walk the Line. He was great in everything he's done. He's a weird dude. But one of the things he is a phenomenal actor. And he took Heath Ledger's dark Joker and took it to like weird, right? Almost to the point. So let me ask you guys this. And before I do that, Kyle, Joker or Vader?
Joker.
Okay, Chris, Joker or Vader?
Definitely a Joker.
Okay. I agree with that only because I don't believe that Darth Vader's actually a villain. Okay, I don't think that he's a villain. To me, he's one of the greatest characters in any movie ever, period. I'm much more of a dark side guy than I am a rebel guy in Star Wars. Vader was awesome. But Vader was never truly, I wouldn't say he wasn't evil because he had some evil tendencies. I mean, he did some evil things, but I don't think that he was truly evil. There was a part of Anakin always in him. Joker's just fucking evil, like straight up evil. And that is the villain. But let me ask you guys this, between between Heath Ledger's Joker and Joaquin Phoenix's Joker, both phenomenal, right? This is open to all you guys and out in the audience. Who here, like, by the end of those two movies, were like pulling for Joker? Like, I probably was. I mean, you know where his mindset was after the movie The Joker with Joaquin and how it became and all of that. Like, there's a part of me that's like rooting for Joker at this point. It's like maybe I have a soft side for the dark people and the really bad, the dark side of people and the villains. But like I started feeling like I'm rooting for Joker at this point. No offense to Batman, but I'm rooting for Joker. Any of you guys feel the same way about Joker? Like you start rooting for him?
I mean, I'm right there with you. I mean, it was kind of hard in the Dark Knight to root for the Joker, but Joaquin Phoenix, yeah, by the end of that thing, I was rooting for the Joker. I was like,
yeah. Now, Vanessa there says walking around strangling people that disagree with you is not some sense of evil. I never said he didn't do evil things. I just don't think that his soul was evil. I don't think that that Darth Vader, because like I said, there's always a bit of Anakin in there. But I mentioned Jack Nicholson's Joker. I did Chicago, Mike. But I don't think that Vader was an evil villain.
Without Vader,
he ended up being the hero at the end. You know what I'm saying?
Without Vader, there is no balance in the Force.
So Anakin and Vader fulfilled the prophecy. He did balance the Force when he took care of the Emperor. Well, I'm not, unless you guys haven't watched the last trilogy at this point. It is what it is. But yeah. 62%, kind of shocking. 62% said that Joker was the best villain. I thought it might be closer, but I think people see it kind of the way that we do as well. Yeah, Joker is the best villain. I've never read a comic book in my life. I've never read one. I'm not really even big on like the comic book movies. I'm a big Batman fan. There was some dark years there with Ben Affleck and even the George Clooney's of the world, and I hate to say even the Val Kilmer Batman wasn't great. Michael Keaton, great Batman. Christian Bale, great Batman.
have you seen Flash?
I've never seen anything about the Flash. I know who Flash is, but I've never seen it before. I've never seen anything about Flash. Is it good?
It just came out.
Yeah, check it out.
Okay, yeah, but didn't he have like a show or something?
He did.
I never watched it. Like I said, I'm not a big comic book guy, so I don't know anything about him. So I know who Flash is, but I don't know much about him.
You'll like the movie, trust me.
Okay, right on.
Listen, but are you telling me you don't like the George Clooney nipple suit? That was the worst Batman suit.
Everything about the George Clooney Batman was the worst ever. Like it was hands down. Like I understand why they wanted Clooney to be Batman. I get it.
Yeah, I mean it's Clooney.
Clooney can make a great. I think he would have made a great Bruce Wayne. Because I see him as the billionaire playboy, right? I'll tell you what. Have y'all seen the latest one with the kid from what was
Twilight?
The vampire movie? Twilight.
Yeah.
Like I almost didn't watch it because I was like, no, this is not a Batman. I'm telling you, he does a pretty good job. Not gonna lie.
Really?
Very surprised. I'm not gonna lie. Very surprising. Not saying it's awesome. Not Christian Bale by any means, but very surprising. And he did much better than I ever anticipated. So I was pleasantly surprised. It's probably worth checking out.
I personally thought that movie was amazing. I don't think it was so much him.
No.
It was
but the
everything.
movie was great. Yes, but he was pretty good.
it was so dark, and then that whole entire soundtrack for that whole movie was based off of one song by Nirvana. That was the weirdest thing. I mean, it was just such a weird, crazy ride all the way through that whole movie.
Well, they did that song like 11 different ways, though, you know, which is great, but no, I mean, he did a really good job. And I'll tell you what, he's a better Batman than Bruce Wayne, but he's not bad as Bruce Wayne. He brings a dark, weird, anti-billionaire playboy vibe to Bruce Wayne. Now, the good thing is he's not Bruce Wayne a whole hell of a lot in this movie. It's a lot of action. It is a really good action film, but I went in it going, I really don't want to watch this because I don't want to watch this guy being Batman. I was so upset when I heard about it. It'll grow on you. I'm telling you, it's probably worth the watch, Kyle, if you haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to check that out.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Chris, if you don't say Michael Keaton is the best Batman, then you're not a true Ohioan, because he's an alumni of Kent State University. If you did not know that.
Kent State is coming to Arkansas this weekend to get beat by 50 in football. Just saying.
Yeah, we got our butts handed to us by UCF as well. So
Now, John,
is that where you went? Is Kent State?
Yeah, I went to Kent State.
Oh yeah, we got a little wager on this game.
You got Keaton, right?
Yeah,
I got George Clooney, dude. North up, NKU alumni.
I don't have a. Well, I'll tell you what you also have. I'll tell you what you also have, Kyle. Same thing that I do. We do not have a Batman, but we have Kylo Ren.
Oh yeah,
Kylo Ren was a Marine. He's a Marine.
Yeah, you may have him, but we have Nick Saban, and a few other big name coaches came out of Kent State. Just say,
Nick Saban ain't nothing anymore.
Didn't you guys also have? Never mind. He had an incident back in the '60s, but I won't bring that up.
Oh yeah, May 4th.
Is it really?
Yeah, it's May 4th. It was the weirdest time on campus too. May
the 4th be with you. I'm more of a Revenge of the 5th kind of a guy, but anyways. Our last pony poll, 2.2 thousand votes. Which one? Real simple. Beretta 92 or the SIG P320? Kyle, let's start with you. SIG P320 or the Beretta 92?
I'll take the SIG P320, even though I have no experience with either. Oh, actually,
you never shot the 92?
I shot the 320. I never shot
You never shot an M9?
Yeah, that's a 92?
The M9 is a 92, yeah.
Give me
that was Beretta. The designate. Yeah.
Give me the Beretta.
Yeah, that was the military designation was the M9.
I'm sorry. I thought it was just called the M9. My bad.
No, it's I mean, it's not exact, but I mean, yeah, it's a 92. It was just that's what they went with the trials as the M9. The civilian models, the 92 and all that. But yeah. Adam Driver, that was his name. Adam Driver's Kylo Ren. Yes, he's a Marine. Chris, 92 or the P320?
I don't really like either one of them, but I'm going to go with the Beretta.
That's fair. I'll talk about it in a second. Ginger, 92 or the P320?
Well, Ghost, as you know, Beretta is doing big things, and they're
taking over the world.
They're taking over the world. The 92 is where it's at.
The 92 is the latest model from Beretta. Not quite, but almost, and it's 40 years old. So, no, I mean, I'm a Beretta guy. I'm a 92 guy. The M9 was the very first handgun that I ever shot. It's how I learned how to shoot pistols. Was the M9. A lot of the guys that I knew back in the day hated the M9. I loved it. Maybe it's because it was the first pistol I ever shot and just loved it. we were fortunate enough to have armors that if we needed something tinkered with, anything like that, switched out this, switched out that, they always took care of us. So I know that the M9 had issues at one point with a lot of people. I never had those issues with the M9. I never really had those issues with the 92 in the civilian world either. So I'm a big, and most people know this, I'm not a huge SIG. I respect SIG. They're great company. They make great quality stuff. Most SIGs do not sit well in my hand. I'm the 226 is about the only SIG that I could see myself. Like, I'd go get me a 226 Legion. Those things are just badass. Like, I could see myself with one of those. But I have no desire to own a 365 or a 320. 320 just does not fit my hand well. It doesn't feel good. I'm not saying it's not a great gun. It just doesn't feel good to me. I'm a 92 guy of the two. I honestly, this was closer. I honestly thought it would be about the same, but I thought it'd be flipped. The 92 gets 57%, 57-43. The Beretta 92 wins. I thought that might be flipped. I was waiting for the SIG fanboys to show up, and maybe everyone heard and heard that Beretta was going to take over the world. So maybe they decided to be on the good graces of Beretta now. So I don't know.
The SIG 320, that's the one the military just picked up as well, right?
Yeah, I think they call it the M17 or M18. I think it's the M17. Don't get me wrong. I think it's a 17, but yeah, that's the one that they have in the last probably, I don't know, 4 or 5 years, switched over to the P320. They're the same ones when they first came out. If you remember, failed the drop test miserably there for a while. But no, I mean, they're good guns. I've heard nothing but good things about them. I've shot the 320. I almost bought one a few years ago just because I wanted to play around with it. And then a buddy of mine got one, so I got to shoot it quite a bit. And I was just like, yeah, no, it's still just, it doesn't feel good to me. But a lot of guys like them. A lot of guys are using them right now. A lot of team guys, I think, use them pretty well. I'm not a SIG guy. It's just me. I think it's probably, honestly, I think it's probably a better gun than the 92. I'm not a big SIG guy. Yeah, there was a lot of the comments saying you don't have to worry about the 92 going off in the holster. That's a fair point. You never want to have a pistol that you're worried about going off in your holster, but it is what it is. So those were the pony polls. Go check out our good friends, especially until Friday. They extended their Labor Day event sale site wide. I'll let Kyle go over here in a second, but go check out AndersonManufacturing.com. I want to say it was 30% off site wide, which is unreal.
Yep, 30%.
30% off site wide, and it's going until Friday. Is it Friday morning, Friday evening, Kyle? Do we have an idea?
Friday at midnight, Eastern Standard Time. So
like Friday night at midnight.
Correct.
Okay, there you go. So go check that. They extended it. We broke the internet a couple times last week, and so. Yeah, I know that you said there's a lot of stuff that at one point were out of stock. That must mean that a lot of inventory was getting moved. I guess that's kind of really what y'all are looking for, is to move some inventory, getting ready for the fall and winter stuff, huh?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And yeah, we definitely moved a lot. So
that's
hopefully
good.
Bring that same energy this week. And
hell yeah. And while you're at it, when you order something, sometimes they'll ask you like any special instructions. Hashtag Pony Express 2024.
Yeah.
Either it's going to work out great, Kyle, or Kyle's going to get fired for the hashtag Pony Express 2024. People are going to like, all right, Kyle, stop it.
I'll make my own Pony Express.
Oh, snap.
Let's go.
Let's go. All right. Tonight we're going to talk a little bit about clones, and we call it the Attack of the Clones. For all you Star Wars people out there, might have noticed that. For all you aren't, then you don't get the reference. But over the last, I mean, it's not like it's never been there. It's been there for a while. You know, the clones, you know, and I wouldn't necessarily clones, but even like the 1911s, they're not necessarily clones, but they are. You know, everyone's got their model of a 1911, so I would consider those clones because it's not off the original, you know, Colt 1911. But clones in general, you've got high power clones. The biggest one the last couple of years is the Glock 19 Gen 3s, one of which is the Kiger that we have here. You've got several companies doing the Gen 3 19 clones. The Beretta 92's got several clones out there. Speaking of the 92, yeah, the Gerson Regard is a 92 clone. Taurus has a PT 92, which is a 92 clone. A lot of guns get cloned and have been getting clones, but I think it's been more prevalent the last couple of years with all the Gen 3 19 clones that have been going out across the industry. And I come across a question that someone asked me and asked my opinion, clones versus the original. Why are people getting so excited about these clones? Are they better than the original? And I thought that's an interesting topic. And the answer to that question and simply is sometimes yes, sometimes not. I think in theory, they should be better than the originals if they're done properly and made with proper materials and done the right way. Because ultimately, when you have an opportunity to take all the good things of the original, keep those somewhat intact and in play, and then have some creative liberties on some of the things that didn't work so well or some aesthetics and all of that, still have the same footprint, but yet not be an exact copy. So you should, by those standards, be able to create a better product. Chris, I'm bring you in first and say, you know, of all like the clone guns, I mean, there's a ton of them out there, not just for the Glocks, but in general. Do you have any clone guns or had an experience with shooting any clone guns? Obviously you have one, you got picked it up today. So
yeah, I'm a big fan of the companies that clone the Glock Gen 3s because
yeah,
I personally think they took a good gun and made it better because you got all the different frames now. You can get slides. I mean, the Glock Gen 3s are like Legos for adults. I mean, there's just so much you can do with them. So,
yeah.
Like, you know, it's like what we were talking about before the chat started. I was like, I found that magwell that would work from one frame and work on this frame. And
no doubt.
My P35 Ops. I love that gun. It's a better,
high power,
to me, it's a better gun than the original high power. They changed stuff on the, you know, the beaver tail. It's optics ready now. It's got a rail on it. You can put a light on it.
Now, do you think John Moses Browning, if he was to come back through Bill and Ted's big adventure through the phone booth and saw the high power now, let's say the Gerson P35 with optic cut, with rails, with beaver tails, do you think he would recognize it? And two, this is for anybody in the panel. One, do you think he recognizes his design? And two, do you think he's happy with the modernization of his original design?
Well, it's not his design.
John Moses Brown designed the high power.
He didn't finish it though.
You're correct. Okay.
If we're gonna
technically, he did not finish it, but it was his design.
Right. No, I think he'd like it. I mean, part of me says he won't because he'd be like, I'm in the future. What the hell? It's all this stuff. But at the same time, like they redid the high power is just what he wanted to do to the 1911 in the first place. So yeah, I think he'd love it.
Yeah, there's a part of me that says I agree with you. I think there's a part of me that I think he would love it. I think he'd also love the fact that 100 years after the original design, it's still relevant. Like all the guns today, the double stack 9mm semi-automatic pistols, like that's what this industry is about right now. And it was 100-year-old idea. You know, it's like, wow, my initial thought and design is still not only relevant, but it's predominant in our industry. I think it's kind of a cool thing. Kyle, I saw you were going to say something. You want to?
I was just gonna say, I wonder what he would think if he's seen the M2s out here nowadays.
Yeah, I think he would enjoy the Ma Deuces. I think that he would say, hell yeah, get you some, boys. You're well. I think he'd sit there and say, you're welcome.
Oh yeah.
Now G Webb said that he'd be very disappointed in 9mm. That's just G. I think that and Ginger brought it up. Like this is what he kind of wanted to do with the 1911 to begin with. And I think that he'd be proud. I don't know if he would. Yeah, I think he would. I don't think he'd be upset about anything. I think that he would maybe wonder about the rail or wonder about an optic cut or whatever. But I think that he'd be proud still. I think he'd be proud that 100 years later, after the original idea, like people are still digging that design. And it's a classic design. And I know people talk about the 1911 being a game changer, and it's obviously a historic gun. I'm not so sure that the high power is not more so historical. I don't think I think it's probably more. I wouldn't say important scares me because importance is a relative term. I think the high power is equally as important, if not more, than the 1911 design. Yeah, and speaking of 1911s, I mean, talking about probably the most cloned gun ever. Everyone's got their 1911, and now they've turned into the 2011s and the 2311s, the double stack 1911s, if you will. They've got them in all different kind of calibers now. Talking about a classic design of the 1911, you know, is that probably the most cloned gun ever? I mean, probably. I mean, everyone's got a 1911 these days, you know.
I don't know. Does an AR, does that count as a clone?
Well, okay, and an AR I think is an M16 clone probably.
Yeah.
You know,
it'd be close. It'd be close between those two.
It would be. It definitely would be. You know, people forget that the Canic TP9 is a clone. And I don't. People may not want to believe that, or you know, I'm a huge Canic fan, but I tell you what's happened to Canic. I remember in Canic, they basically were giving them away because no one knew who they were, and now they're the plush thing. People don't realize those are Walthers, man. Those are Walther clones, P99 clones. Nothing bad about them, just saying, but the TP9 was not an original design, folks. Yeah, I mean, the cloning, I think, let's me start by this. Chris, I'm going to start with you on this one. In the cloning game, overall, not specific to a certain gun, do you think, personally, that the clones are better overall than the originals, or are you more of a fan of the original kind of guns?
To me, it depends. Like the Canic, we bring that up. I love the Canics, just like you do.
Yeah.
But the trigger might just be a hair better. But I still think the Walther is a way better gun than what the Canic is.
I would agree with that. I do think that the Canic trigger is better than the Walther, not by a lot, but it is better. Stock trigger. I like some of the design features of the Canic. I really am a big fan of the TP9, at least the SF Elite, which I have. I really love that gun. But if I had to sit there and be honest, say which is the better gun, I think it's the Walther still. I think it's the Walther. Ginger, overall, are you more fans of the originals? I mean, you kind of have a FUD soul, you know. Are you fans of originals, or are you digging like the modernized clones these days?
I'm digging the modernized clones. I mean, without clones, here's how I'll put it. You buy a clone because you want the original, but you can't afford the original. And without them, that gets you into, let's talk it like VP9. VP9 costs outrageous. You buy SAR 9, which is very close in grip and comparison.
Absolutely.
But it gives you something to strive for. You've got your SAR 9, you run it, and then you buy that VP9, and then it's a real hard decision on which one you like better. And sometimes you like the clone better. I mean, you were talking about the PT92 and then the 92. The PT92, I like it because the grip or the decocker and safety is on the frame. Now we're seeing that with Beretta doing it with their 92X. But do I think the PT92 is better built than the Beretta? No. There's no way that the PT92 is not built better than the Beretta itself.
It's not built better, but it was built with the same machines. They actually bought the machines. That said, obviously, in order to get the PT92 from Taurus at a certain price point, you're not going to be using the same materials or the quality of materials as Beretta did with the original. If you're trying to get something that's half the price or 2/3 of the price, something's got to give. And typically it's not the same quality. So it can't necessarily in that case, I don't think that the PT92 is a better gun than the 92. That said, the Gerson Regard could be a better gun than the 92 because they didn't go cheap on some of the products. They actually improved on some of the crap that is a little annoying about the 92. There are some that actually do improve on the original. I think that you were talking about, Ginger, the clones being something that maybe you can get into for cheaper than the original. And for some, that's probably the case. That's probably a reason why people will get into the clones versus the original. Well, before I go into this, I want to bring Kyle in. When you guys started the idea of the Kiger, was the idea of taking this gun and improving it over the original kind of design of the Glock 19 Gen 3, or was it, hey, let's get this to where it's a more cost efficient version of this classic gun? Was there that? You might not be able to say it publicly. I don't know if you're allowed to or not, but was that conversation like which from your memory, what was more prevalent? Improving on the original design or price point? Do you remember those conversations at all?
So the original talks were improving the original design.
Okay.
And then that really just kind of fell in place with, our capabilities at our facility. Like, we can do this and make it more cost effective for everybody. And we were like, all right. So that's how the Kiger came about. And I've always been an aftermarket guy. It's kind of like what everybody was saying. And if you just take money away from the equation, it kind of forces competition. Like, it forces like, oh, damn, I need to step my game up because they just cloned this. Oh, God, I got to step my game up because I want our clone to be better than this guy's. Yep. And just causes that natural competitive scene, if you will.
Yeah, no, and G-Webs brings up a point there. He says, if you own or buy an original classic 1911, you're probably not going to be inclined to modify it for CCW. but a clone is made to be modified to today's job at hand. And I think that that's where the clone game has really gotten kind of cool. You can modify it however you want it to be. A lot of these clones come in different barrel lengths, like a 1911. Now you can get anywhere from a full size 6-inch all the way down to like a 4-inch or whatever. I mean, you can have this original 1911 design and have it in a size to carry. For like me, I would never carry 6-inch 1911. I'm not that big. It would look weird for me to carry that. But I will carry a 4-inch 1911 or something. And I think that that's kind of where I think G's right, when it's not necessarily, and Kyle was talking about the aftermarket. Everything that you want to do, let's say you buy that Gen 3 Glock 19, you say, well, I want to do this to it, I want to do this to it, I want to do this to it. Well, guess what? It's right there. All those things that someone would want to do, now they have the availability to sell that gun with all of those upgrades, if you will, aftermarket changes. Whether or not it's upgrades or not is up to the eye of the beholder. But aftermarket changes you would do with that and say, here's our version at Anderson or at Springfield or PSA or wherever is doing these clones. Here's our version of what we would do to this gun if we took a Gen 3 Glock 19 and made it our own. And here it is. And I love the fact that you've got 3, 4, 5, 6, 10 different models of the Glock 19 Gen 3 from different manufacturers, but they're all different guns because they all would focus on something more, something different. And I love that. I think, like Kyle said, the competition, it's going to breed competition. And that's the cool thing, because when you can do whatever you want to do with a gun, staying around this design, you can have a lot of fun with that. I'll tell you one of the things that I love most about this gun, and it's something that sounds so weird. By the way, it's empty. It's an airsoft gun. What I love about this Kiger is that grip texture is insane. It's insane. I like an aggressive texture on a grip, whether it's stippling or tape or whatever. I enjoy an aggressive grip. That's there. And I don't have to go and buy grip tape, which is what I do with a lot of my guns. I'll go buy some grip tape. Don't have to with this. I think it's something as simple as having the tape right there and right there where you're going to need your pressure points and your contact points. There's tape there. I love that. Little bitty details. And like I said, you get this for under $300 right now on sale over AndersonManufacturing.com. But the details, the rail, I don't know if I doubt if I'm going to run a light on this. I don't know, but I like the option of having that. If I want to run a light, I will. I don't know if I'm going to run an optic on it, but you know what? I've got the option to run an RMR footprint optic on that. I love that. So
while you got that there, though, let's talk about that thumb ledge.
What's that? Yeah.
I mean,
I'll go ahead.
No, I was just saying that ledge for where you're going to put your thumb, the stippling's right there, and they cut that in deep. I love it. It
is. I'll tell you something that, once again, and I think this is the pro model, and Kyle, you can correct me on this if I'm wrong. And I think but I think it was only on the pro model, but I don't know if you can see the mag release button, how enlarged that is. I love that. I don't know if you can see that or not. I don't know if that's just on the pro model, but that mag release button is much bigger than a Glock or anything I've seen. And I love that because I have short fingers. So that enlarged button helps me out tremendously. I like an enlarged button. It is what it is. But no, the controls on this thing are phenomenal. And it's one of those things, once again, you take a classic design, and oh, by the way, I did try it. It does fit in all of my Glock 19 holsters.
Nice.
Letting you know, Gen 3 holsters. Takes Gen 3 mags. Ran those today. This is the one that I use today. My P mags haven't come in. They'll probably be in tomorrow or something from Anderson. But it sounds weird. I haven't tried it out yet, but it looks like it will take. Looks like it's not the size of the Glock. I think it probably will take the old Glock 19. A lot of good. Yep. Yeah, the plate, the slide. I mean, it looks like it looks identical, so it looks like it should. I love this thing. It sounds something very simple, but the detail. Once again, they take a classic design and say, "Here's how the people at Anderson, if they were going to go take a 19 Gen 3, this is what they would do to it." And I think you guys hit a home run.
Thank you, Ghost.
What is it? The PSA Dagger? Is that what it's called? The Dagger?
Yep.
It's not bad. It's not bad. I've shot it. That trigger on this one's much better than the PSA Dagger. Much
100%.
better. It's better than the Springfield, the Hellcat. And I like the Hellcat. I'm not gonna lie. I'm a Springfield. I appreciate Springfield's designs. I'm a huge fan of the old XD9. Take their politics aside, I enjoy a lot of their designs. The Hellcat's not a bad gun. I've shot it before. This, as far as of all the ones that I've shot, this one stands out. And I just got it today, but I've already enjoyed it. It just came in today. I picked it up. It's great. Let's just kind of open up to the room. As far as clones go, when you're looking at buying a clone, and because we talked about this before, Chris and Ginger and Kyle, anyone can talk about it. When you're looking at a clone from your eyes, are you looking at it to get into a cheaper or less expensive design, or are you looking to get the upgrades of the newest clones? Like, when y'all are looking at them, which one are you originally looking for? Is it that price point, or is it the upgraded features, or whatever? Let's just have a conversation at this point.
It depends on the gun, really. So
okay,
if it's like, so like the SAR 9 Sport, we'll take that.
Mm-hmm.
It's very HKVP9ish, but I also want.
Yeah, I've always said that SAR 9. I love mine.
Yeah.
But I'm a VP9 guy. It is the frame of a VP. It's the glove child of a VP9 and the Glock 17. So I think the slide, at least for me, the slide reminds me of a Glock 17. Obviously, the grip is 100% a VP9. So you're kind of getting the best of both worlds. And that's kind of why I like the SAR 9 is I love the way it feels, but I also love a Glock 17 as well. So you're kind of getting the best of all worlds. But yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I'm not very smart. I will forget my thoughts if I don't get them out quickly.
No, but that's what I was going to get at is when I look at these newer quote unquote clones coming out, I want to see what they did different. And about a few weeks ago, we talked about the Stoger, how that is a clone of technically a Hellcat Pro. But if you look at it, they took like, hey, this is
a clone of something. Yeah. It was just hilarious, you know.
And I look at it, and for me, when it comes to like a quote unquote clone, we're looking at, okay, price point. I want to try it. I want to see if it holds up to the original, if the upgrades they did were different. And then if we're talking about like a Gen 3 Glock clone, we're talking like, okay, well, why am I paying? What's the difference between this Gen 3 Glock clone from Anderson that is on sale right now versus, there's the Faxon and there's the Shadow Systems and there's this one, and why are they so expensive compared to this? And what am I getting differently? So when it comes to like Gen 3 Glocks, there's only certain things you can do to make them different. Like the Anderson did really well And if I remember correctly, when I shot the Anderson, it shoots better and flatter than a 19 itself. And I don't know why.
I've got 100 rounds in mine today. I mean, I've got tens of thousands of rounds in Glock 19s. I'm not ready to make that assumption. What I will tell you is the trigger is umpteen times better than a standard Glock trigger. Chris, I think even he will. The reset on this is phenomenal, and I'm a big reset guy. I know Chris is as well. That's the very first thing I ever do is when I get a new gun, or if I'm looking at a gun, it's break it, rack it, and I go to reset. I just want to see that reset. It's very short, very crisp, very audible reset on this one. In the 100 rounds that I shot, I'm talking about a silhouette steel target from 15, 20 yards. I didn't miss one all day today. Now, I wasn't trying to go slow, but I wasn't trying to go fast either. I was just I wanted to get a feel for the gun, shooting it from release all the way and shooting it from reset, just kind of getting a feel. The sights are phenomenal. They have rear blacked out sights, which I love. They have a blacked out front sight, which I think is awesome. I'm not a big white dot sight guy. As far as out shooting a 19, I will say that it feels better and it shoots, to my 100 round experience with it, shoots very, very well. Time will tell if I think it's a better shooter, and time will tell if it's as reliable. That's the one thing about the Gen 3 the Glock 19s is the reliability. You can do anything to that gun and it will go bang. Time will tell, but I'll tell you what, through 100 rounds of this, I'm enjoying this more than I enjoyed the Glock 19 when I first got my first one. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I don't know about as far as shooting it, as far as a flatter shooter and all that. Time will tell.
That's an honor, Ghost. That is an honor to you.
And that's not because you're here, dude. I bought this gun. Like, you didn't send this to me. I bought this gun, so I have no reason to say anything otherwise. I bought this gun, and I love this gun so far. I sent a text to Kyle earlier today when I got to the range, and I was like, "Holy shit, I love this thing, man! Like, it's a great gun." All right, go ahead. Now, Ginger, go ahead.
You hit the nail on the head. Reliability is a big thing.
Yeah,
when you
that's where it's at.
The clones, are they as reliable or better than the originals? And we look at out of Turkey, we're talking about, like, let's take for example the M4, the Benelli M4 clones coming out of Turkey. Because if I say M4, people are going to go. Are they as reliable as the Benelli?
I don't know if we know yet. There's no really, right. I mean, how do we know yet? 5 years from now, maybe we'll know more, right?
And that's what we see is some people have trashed them, because some haven't had good experience, some have great experience. You're talking about mass-produced products at a scale that in the last 2 years we've never seen before.
Yeah.
Or 3 years, called 2-3 years, we'll call it that.
Yeah. We started seeing a bunch of stuff but 2 years ago is when we started seeing the flood of the attack of the clones, if you will.
Yeah. So you hit the nail on the head where you said reliability. We're talking about, okay, does it have the features? I mean, there's so many new guns coming to market from companies that would never make that gun and coming out with a quote unquote clone, that if I can save 2, 3, 4, or 5, or in the case of the M4, like $1,500.
Yeah.
That's really what it comes down to when you're looking at, okay, it's a price savings. And then it comes down to the old saying, you buy once, you cry once. If it works,
you're not crying.
Yeah. And if it doesn't, you're gonna hear about it. And that's where we hear some of these clones, but Canic's a prime example. It's a Walther P99. They hit it out of the park coming out the.
They did it right. Had they not done it right, we wouldn't know anything about Canic anymore. They'd be gone. They did it right.
It's the same thing with SAR. It's the same thing with all these companies. So
absolutely. I want to ask Kyle this and say from an industry point of view, is the clone fad, is it just because the patent ran out on the Gen 319, which was arguably the most famous, or I don't know, famous. It's one of the most respected and whether people want to admit it or not, most influential guns ever built was the Gen 319. Do you think the fad of the clones is because that, or do you, from the industry standpoint, and don't give away any trade secrets from Anderson or anything, but let me put it this way. Does Anderson have any more clone ideas coming down the road that you can talk about? Not saying you can tell me what it is, but saying this is going to be our one-off clone, or man, we've hit a home run with this. We might look at some more. Is that something that you guys are going to do?
Not that we have in the pipeline right now. I will say that, it kind of like what you were alluding to earlier, like with it being a proven platform, huge aftermarket, all that, it's kind of a no-brainer, but that's not the sole reason. Another reason is you just have to diversify your product line at some point.
This is true.
So the AR industry might be getting a little crowded. So, it's time to spread some of the love out and, go on to different ventures. Not getting away from the AR thing by any means, but, definitely expanding your product line is never a bad thing.
Well, you guys have got a bolt gun coming down the line that you guys introduced at SHOT and NRAM. That I know a lot of people are looking forward to, but I can tell you this, and you hit on something very important there, and I don't know if it was what you guys intended or not, but when I first heard last fall the Kiger Anderson's coming out, and it didn't matter to me that of anything. Once again, I'm a huge fan of the 19, so especially the Gen 3, but it didn't matter, right? To me, the fact that Anderson came out with a pistol was kind of like groundbreaking. He was like, oh my God. Kind of like when Mossberg came out with the MC. I mean, it's been 100 years since Mossberg had a pistol design, and most people were not alive for that, So like most people don't even know that Mossberg ever had a pistol. So for almost everyone that's alive, that was the first pistol that they've ever seen from Mossberg. And it's one of those things when you start seeing, like you said, diversifying your product line, adding different SKUs, entering this arena of something that's maybe outside your comfort zone. I think there's a lot to be said about that, because a lot of companies have thrown their hats in the clone game, but a lot of them haven't, because they're probably scared to say this is too different than what people know us for. Exactly. I don't know. You guys can tell me, Kyle. I mean, to me, the Kiger seems like it's been a home run for you guys the last year. Has it been? I think looking back, would everyone agree with that was a good decision for the company?
I mean, I'm a little biased, but I'd say it's awesome. The Kiger has taken off, and I grew up in Hebron, Kentucky, so for 5 years before the Kiger, we had always heard Anderson's low key. They're developing a 1911. I was like, all excited for it. Never came. And so when the Kiger dropped, it's like, I finally got it. It's not a 1911, but we finally got Anderson a pistol. So that was cool to be a part of that too.
I think you guys need to have a 1911.
I think it'd be sick.
2011.
Caught them coming up with a hashtag for 2025.
Hashtag the Anderson Mustang 2025.
I was just gonna say the Mustang. I think that would be a cool gun.
If it doesn't have racing stripes, I don't want it. Well, Ghost, you can think of it this way. The other thing you want. So we brought, and Kyle brought up the 1911. You brought up the 1911.
Yeah.
Back in the 90s and early 2000s, when you went to diversify, it was a 1911.
That's all it was. Sure.
Now it's the Gen 3 Glock. When people are going to diversify, it's
and the high power now. The high power has kind of gotten some love in the last couple of years as well. But yeah, no, go ahead. I hear what you're saying.
So that's where you can see. And now the other thing is, like, he brought up the 1911. I don't think we're going to see more 1911 clone. I mean, they're quote unquote clones. I think we're going to see more 2011 clones, more of the, hey, does it like the platypus from Stealth? It takes Glock mags, or the Oracle. Kyle left. Or the Oracle, or things like that. We're going to see a lot more of that, or you're going to see more established brands like Savage just came out with their 1911. It's the same idea.
It is. Bring Kyle back in. There he goes. There he is.
Sorry, guys.
Yeah, I think you're right to a lot of extent, John. I think that the next series of clones, as far as the 1911 game, will be the double stack, the 2011 designs. Just because I think you can make it more modern. You can add the rail, you can add the optics, you can add a more capacity in that. So I think that's where people are going to go. But ultimately, it's the design. It's the design. The 1911 design is a classic design. Historically, 1911 triggers are just better than a lot of other trigger systems. Doesn't matter who making them. The 1911 trigger is a good one. Let me ask you this. This is kind of going off on a little tangent here. Also, the last couple of years, there has been a big thing with the flat trigger design and pistols. You guys big fans of the flat trigger, or do you like curved trigger for pistols?
I'm a curved guy.
Yep.
Everything needs to go to a flat trigger.
Get him, Chris.
Flat is where it's at. It's not like high school.
Wow. Well played, sir. Well played. Yeah. I historically am a curved guy. That said, I've had a couple guns that have come in the last few months. A couple that I cannot talk about yet that have flat triggers, and damn, like I love a flat trigger on a rifle. I think they're really, really good on a rifle. I've never disliked them in handguns, but I've always just kind of been a curved trigger guy. Man, I'm telling you, flat triggers kind of they're creeping into my mind here.
Are you more flat or the hybrid, where it's like that? It's flat on break, but it's at that like 45-degree angle.
I tell you what I love the most. Okay, and this is a shameless plug for a company that I have worked with in the past, but I love their products. Hyperfire. Okay, I love music on Hyperfire. This is probably about 5. Damn, 5. When was Indy? The first Indy, was that 2019? 19. Okay, so it was SHOT 2019 was the first time I ever heard of Hyperfire triggers. And I was at the Antares Alliance shoot the Sunday prior to SHOT in 2019. And Hyperfire was there, and I was like, holy cow, these are great triggers. What they had, I think, is awesome. They had flat trigger, but they had the little trigger shoe on there that you could slide on that had the little curve. So you had the flat trigger if you wanted. If you wanted to put the shoe on, it could still be a curved trigger right there at the trigger point, which I thought was ingenious.
And it's adjustable up and down.
Yes, you can put it up high, down low, wherever
I got a
you want it.
fire in that one, man. They're amazing triggers. They're not.
I've got them in.
They're
no,
amazing.
they're not. But they're not overly. They have models for $99. Now they have models, different match models that will go to about $300. But they've got like a basic drop-in $99 Hyperfire trigger that's going to be an upgrade over most. But I tell you, like I said, that was the first time that the flat trigger really started making sense to me, because their flat trigger feels really, really good. But if you didn't want it, you could throw the shoe on there and still have a curved trigger as far as the feeling goes. But the Hyperfire flat trigger was the first one that I felt really, really good about. I'm still up in the air on handgun flat triggers. But I'm coming around a little bit. Keep it PG-13. I have no idea what that means. But yeah, no, flat triggers on pistols. I'm not gonna lie. They're coming around. I'm coming around on it. If they're done right, I'm okay with some of them. Maybe on a high power or a 1911 kind of a design, I could see that. Maybe on a polymer striker fired gun, maybe not. Maybe I probably would still enjoy the curved trigger on that. I don't know. But I shot some 2011s with that flat trigger. I shot some high powers with the flat trigger. And I was like, like, okay, I get it. Like, that's pretty good, you know.
I'm really digging this airsoft gun with that style trigger. That style trigger, I don't know why I like it so much, but it breaks at 90, but it also it's that in between a curve.
You're getting the best of kind of all worlds with that trigger. Absolutely. That's a pretty airsoft gun, by the way.
Thank you.
Yeah. I bet no one here is a recurve kind of guy, M. Gabriel says.
Like a bow?
That's the only kind of recurve I know. I don't know anything about a recurve trigger. Anybody? Am I missing out on something that I should know about? Maybe he is talking a bow. I don't know.
I think that's a bow.
Okay.
I think
I'm just making sure that I didn't know something. I mean, maybe there's something out there that I didn't know about. You know. Anyway, so yeah. We kind of want to talk one more thing about the Clone Wars, if you will. A lot of 1911s. There have been the high powers. There's been the P99, the PPK with Walther was a cloned one for a while. There have been some great clones out there. There really have been. We talked about a lot of them. AR, I mean, goodness gracious. I mean, the AR game with the M16, or, you know, what's next? Like, I'm going to start with Chris on this. If there was a gun out there that you would like to see cloned, do you have one in mind, Chris?
I really don't. I mean, everything's kind of already been cloned that I really care about. But what I am getting excited about, I think there's going to be, I think we're going to see a big resurgence with bolt action. People coming out with their own versions of the 700 actions, like Anderson's getting ready to come out with one.
Yeah.
Especially Colin Eagle Run talked about this the other night on his chat. I think we're going to see a huge thing where people are going to get big into building the bolt actions.
Yeah.
I think that's probably what we're going to see here in the next year, the next 2 years.
That could be interesting. I wonder if it gets to be as big as the building market of the AR platform. You know, that'd be interesting.
I don't know if it'll get as big, but I think it's going to be a big, big thing.
Yeah. You know, the idea of, and it's there. I mean, it's there. if you run the 700 as your base, like a mil spec for the AR, if you run the Remington 700 as your base aftermarket design, the aftermarket parts, you can go and get a chassis or a stock. You can go get a barrel. You can go get an action. You can go get anything and everything that you want and Frankenstein the hell out of a 700 design. I wonder, because I'm a big fan, and the Bergara is a 700 clone, if you will, and then I love the B14. But I tell you, another one that's great is the Tika, and the Tika is not based off the 700. I wonder if, obviously, the 700 being kind of the easy one to clone and have aftermarket parts, but Tika is a great system as well. And I wonder if you'll start seeing some more Tika aftermarket stuff to where you could build a Tika design or a Tika cloned rifle as well. But I think that's interesting, Chris, about the 700 or the bolt action builds. I think you're right. It may not ever get as big as AR builds. Not that we would ever, time will tell. But I like the idea of after marketing everything and building a bolt action how you want it, a true custom bolt action that's not going to cost you $8,000.
I did think of a gun that I want somebody to clone.
Yeah, what you got?
You got to either do the however you want to pronounce it. We got to get somebody to clone the Garand or the Garand.
That's what I was going to say. Is I'm going to call it a Grand. I know people say, "Oh, it's a Garand," whatever. I'm going to call it a Grand. That needs to happen. That needs to happen quickly. A lot of AK clones out there. We didn't talk about AK clones. AK clones are great. Once again, they're going to be cheaper than the Kalashnikovs, but they're not as good. Let's just be honest. I've got a Zastava pistol. Love it. Runs great. It's not the same. It's going to be a little bit cheaper parts and all of that. But yeah. Ginger, if there's one gun that you would like, maybe either for personal reasons, sentimental reasons, whatever, if there's a gun that you would love to see get cloned, what would it be?
I've got 3, actually. Okay, 1 you already brought up, the Garand.
Okay.
2 is the Bren 10.
Ooh, the Bren 10 would be nice.
I'd like to see the Bren 10 come back. And number 3 would be Gen 3 Smith & Wessons.
Okay. I'm not a Smith & Wesson, a Gen 3 Smith guy. I have some friends, including you, but Snob and some. He's a big Gen 3 Smith guy. There's a lot more Gen 3 Smith guys out there than I thought. I didn't realize that the Gen 3 Smith market was what it was. I had no idea.
So this is what I'll tell you. So I bought a Smith & Wesson 915 from AIM Surplus a few years back.
Yeah.
And I didn't think much of it because I just wanted a Gen 3 Smith to add to the collection. And
sure.
After really looking over it, it has the undercut trigger guard. It's got the flared magwell, 1911 grip angle. It's got everything you want.
Yeah.
In a gun, and that everybody's been designing, but it's like from the 90s. So most people are like, well, this is a more modern thing. No, it's been happening since forever. But the other thing I wanted, Chris touched on the building of bolt actions. When I was at Faxon, that was part of our conversation. And the reason why it was part of our conversation, and if Chris or Kyle's probably in the same boat, because at that point they were talking about stopping the online sale of AR parts. So we needed to move. And we built a bolt gun with parts we ordered in 15 minutes. From start to finish, 15 minutes.
Really? Awesome.
So I think there's a market there, and I don't think it's been touched yet. I think it is good. Building a bolt gun is going to become another big thing at some point.
I think it has the possibilities. I never really thought of it because the manufacturers that are putting out the bolt guns do such a great job. And let's be honest, the average person isn't going to go and buy a bolt gun and probably do a whole hell of a lot of aftermarket parts to it. Now, the competitive shooter and all of that, the avid hunter that's looking for that perfect, setup, maybe. But I think the average Joe Blow is going to go buy the Remington 700 at the local gun shop, is going to take it home and shoot it how it is. That said, if you're able to go and do a part buy for a bolt action, and it doesn't matter what brand that you get, you can go get Faxon this or whatever, and you can part together and in 15 minutes put together a custom bolt action rifle. That's intriguing. That's very, very intriguing. I'd be interested to hear. Oh, go ahead, John.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. From start to finish, it was 15 minutes. We timed ourselves, and the hardest part was unlike ARs, where there's the pin. If everybody's built an AR, there's a pin.
My God! Yes.
Unlike that, you have to time the barrel and do the.
I would say the barrel would probably take the longest.
That took the longest.
And it's what, 5 minutes probably?
Yeah, 5 minutes.
Maybe.
Yeah. Start to finish, 15 minutes with the stock, everything in, ready to go.
And probably 5 minutes was the barrel. I mean,
yeah.
So for the average person, it might take half an hour spending 10 minutes on that barrel. And half an hour for the average person that may not have ever built a thing in their life, like me, who's not mechanically inclined at all. 30 minutes. Yeah. 30 minutes to build it, probably. I mean, I would imagine double that for the average person, because you guys know what you were doing. I mean, it didn't take you 15 minutes because you guys know what you're doing, but the average person, let's say double that, 30 minutes, spending 10 minutes on the barrel with a good YouTube video or some help with someone else. That's very reasonable. We also know that it's, unless you get, a full lower for an AR, it's going to take you more than half an hour to put together an AR, just because you've got crazy ass springs and all sorts of stuff that you've got to possibly add to that lower if you're getting a stripped lower. That's a pretty cool idea. I never thought about. That's a great idea. I mean, it is. That's intriguing. A custom build your own. Kyle, take notes. A custom build your own bolt action website. That would be badass. Kyle,
and then manufacture the tools to make them.
It's just like car dealerships. They don't necessarily give a crap about selling the car. They want the maintenance on that car. They want you to bring it in every time that car breaks down. They make their money in the shop. They make a little bit of money selling the car, but those dealerships want you to bring their car back. They want the parts because they have the tools. BMW, for instance, there are only certain tools that will work with a BMW, and you can't just go buy those on eBay or Amazon. You've got to take them to a specific service guy, and he's going to charge you triple just because he can. You're right about that. Kyle, I'm going to ask you multiple different questions. I want you to take your Anderson hat off right now and be Kyle. There you go. Hey, over the top, baby. Over the top. Ginger, Over the Top was a movie with Sylvester Stallone. It was an arm wrestling movie back in the day. He flipped his hat around and was over the top. Just a little reference for you in case you didn't know that. So we're talking to Kyle right now. Is there a gun or a rifle or any kind of a weapon system, a gun or weapon system that you personally would like to see cloned in the next couple of years?
I like to back up my boys over here with the M1 Garand, but Outside of that, is there a P90 clone out there? I'd like to see that.
They've got the FN's got the PS90. Obviously the semi-automatic. Man, I'm digging like a P90 or like a Tavor or an AUG. Some of those like badass assault weapons. Oh man, yeah, a P90. I'm looking at it right now. I've got like a Ruger 1022 that has a stock that attaches to that 16-inch barrel that makes it look like a P90, and I love that damn thing. It's awesome.
Yeah. I got one of this. The High Tower Armory.
Shit, don't get me lying. I'm not sure. Oh snap! Yep. So yeah, I agree, John. MP5, MP7, I think those would be awesome as well to get some legit. And there has been some decent clones that have come out in the last couple of years. But hell, they're just as expensive as an HK, so I don't know.
$1,000 MP5. It's got to happen.
Oh yeah.
If Century had one,
it's still out there. They still have it.
It is, but it is. I'm still hesitant on that one. I'm hearing bad things about it.
Just so you know, Palmetto's got the Century MP5 for $899 right now.
It might be worth it just to try it out.
John, you ruined, man.
Now, I've also heard that I can't remember who it was. Either they came out with it or they're getting ready to come out with it. It was an MP5 upper that fits on an AR lower. I can't remember who it was. I saw it at SHOT this year, and I don't think it's out yet. Is it Deadfoot?
Deadfoot's doing
Is it out yet?
Don't quote me on that. It is.
I don't think it is, because when I talked to them, they were going to be really happy if it was out before SHOT next year. But the fact that could be interesting.
Yeah.
Once again, we're talking about a clone that's innovative. An MP5 upper for an AR lower could be really, really interesting. All right, so Kyle, let's go back to Anderson, not necessarily Anderson, but from the industry. And I know we asked this before, but is the clone game here to stay in your mind? Is it here to stay, or is it a fad?
I think
from an industry standpoint.
From an industry standpoint, I think the clones will always be around. Clones not going away. I just hope it doesn't all go to clones. We still got that cutting edge, like innovation, and kind of like the MP5 upper for the AR. That's innovating, and like that'd be cool. I would love to try something like that. So
yeah,
and I think cloning does lead to that. It kind of like breeding the competition. It also starts sparking that creative thought, and hopefully bring us some new platforms, something new to toy around with. So. I think it's just all part of the cycle, man. All part of the cycle.
Yeah, no, I agree. I tell you, we talk about this a lot. And one of the companies that gets cloned a lot, and it's funny to me because when they come out with something, everyone just trashes it. Just absolutely just trashes it.
I already know.
I mean, so you know what I'm talking about, but there's a company out there that is incredibly important to, I think, our industry. Incredibly innovative, but they get crapped on. And then 15 years later, oh man, it's great. This gun is great. That was a Kel-Tec 15 years ago, and praise Kel-Tec. I will back up Kel-Tec, not because of their superior quality products. I'm not saying that. What I will say is this industry needs Kel-Tec because Kel-Tec is not afraid to push envelopes. Kel-Tec is always been one. The Sub 2000, you can say what you want to about it. The Sub 2000 design was crazy awesome at the time. There's a lot of Kel-Tec stuff that is popular today that people forget is a Kel-Tec design, or at least inspired by a Kel-Tec design. So praise Kel-Tec. I don't own any Kel-Tec, and I probably never will, but I can truly respect Kel-Tec for what they have done and what they continue to do. And that is to push the envelope and say, look, we're gonna go through that brick wall. Once we get over there, we're gonna need some help, but we're gonna go through the brick wall for you, and all of that. I mean, it's what it is. Let's just be honest, but but yes, yeah, the ideas are great. The Kel-Tecs of the world are needed. I personally would like to see, obviously, the MP5. I mean, let's just be honest. Who doesn't need an MP5 or MP7 in their lives? Let's just be honest. Everyone does. I would say I would like to see like a 240 Bravo clone for cheaper, but I don't want to see it in a semi-auto fashion. Hello. A 240 Bravo semi-auto doesn't make much sense. So would I like to have one? No, probably not. I'll go buy me an airsoft one and have a lot of fun with an airsoft fully automatic 240. I'll tell you one that I would like, and I think it's one of the best weapon systems ever created, and that's the HK 416. Now, I know HK has the 5.56, which is the civilian semi-auto version of the 416. But I would love to see someone down the line clone the 416 design and make it an affordable AR. Hint, hint, Anderson. Just saying. I think the 416 system is probably the best M16, M4 / AR system ever designed. I really do love the 416. And there are a little bit differences than the mil spec stuff with the 416 that I think that HK probably has patents on, but hopefully those run out. I would love to see a 416 clone down the line. John, you got something to say?
Yeah. So you asked the question to Kyle about, is this here to stay? I don't think we're going to see it clone. I'm going to see people coming out with retro lines.
Yeah.
I think that's a better way to put it. Is retro.
And let me ask you this, Kyle.
Yeah.
From an industry standpoint, for Anderson, I'm not saying you're speaking for Anderson, but you probably would know the answer. Do you guys like hearing the word clone, or what do you guys prefer them called?
To be honest with you, I don't think we have a preference when it comes to stuff like that.
Okay, so a lot of companies do not like the word clone. They do not like the word clone. But
I mean, I get it because I'm a word nerd. So it basically like sounds like you're copying on somebody, but you're putting your own twist on it. It's like we talked about all show. So
yeah. So the retro upgrades, if you will. Yeah, I mean, I think you can call them what you want. I do like the Bren 10 idea. What?
Yeah, I do too. Yeah.
What? That might happen. Yeah, the Bren 10 would be really, really cool. Anything, and here's one, because like no one's mentioned anything about revolvers. I'm not a revolver guy, but is there anything in the revolver world that would kind of be a cool retro upgrade or whatever you want to call it, clone? I mean, is there a revolver market out there for clone stuff or no?
Yeah, I mean, Cowboy Action. Well, I mean, talk about clones. There's all of them. I think you're going to see
cloning the old army and making them up, modernized and all that, I guess. Yeah.
It'd be cool to kind of see like, and some of like Taylor's and Company and you Birdie and all them to come out with not not upgraded ones, but like ones that you've seen in video game, because they're already doing it with movie ones, but like, hey, come out with the guns from Red Dead and make them all cool looking and things like that.
That's something that I wish maybe there would be more of. And let's just throw it out there. Like the Han Solo blaster. Like someone create a 22 LR or a 9mm, you know what I'm saying? That's designed like Han's blast or something like that. That would be really, really, really cool. Taking these famous movie guns and making them real, that could be really awesome, actually.
I hate to shut that down, but in the environment we're in today, that's just bringing a lawsuit on the gun industry. We don't need it right now. That's
true. That's fair.
Yeah.
You guys have had this conversation at Anderson?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've seen it at SHOT Show, but we did have the duck hunter Kaiser out there.
I forgot about that. You're right.
And that was a big topic of conversation. Was like, could we do something like this? Like, no, because they think we're marketing the children,
and especially Disney. Disney will sue your ass if you try to do the Han Solo blaster.
Oh, for sure. I can't even get ESPN right now because that Disney won't work a plan with my cable company.
Crazy. So bad.
Who's the company that somebody just did the Han Solo blaster?
Battle Arms.
Is it Battle Arms?
But I don't think it was a working model. I think it was just a prototype shell. Are you talking about the one that was an NRAM?
Yeah.
I don't think that was I might be wrong about that. I don't know if that was a working model, if it was just a prototype. I don't know. I might be wrong about that. I don't know. I remember seeing it in NRAM, but I don't remember if it was working model or not.
Because you're onto something. I mean, if they came out with a broom handle Mauser clone or a Luger clone, I mean, those are, or a Sterling clone.
And you can paint it however you want to paint it,
that, or they sell the parts separately to make it look like that. I mean, that's a whole different ballgame.
Now that you're on to something there,
because now you're not
manufacturing it. Yeah. You're just making it to where other people can make it at home. Interesting.
I think Battle Arms, it's up for sale.
Is it really? Is it a working model?
Their website is so vague over here. Man, it's expensive.
Well, they're probably have to be vague because Disney will find it and
we will find it.
Okay, yeah, it runs on it's 22 LR.
It is a working model. Oh my god! I thought for some reason it was just like a prototype shell.
Well, no, I remember because I saw it in NRAM too, and then I think it was about 3 or 4 weeks ago. I saw somebody actually shooting it on Instagram.
Huh? I'll be damned.
And
it's pretty cool. Oh, of course it is. I tell you, the one, if you're gonna do one, if you're gonna take the chance with Disney and do a Star Wars, please someone make me a bowcaster out of like an AR. Like, just make me a bowcaster with an AR. That's all I need to do.
Didn't we have this conversation with Kyle?
We did. We did.
Yes, we did.
Just call it the Anderson Chewy. It's all you got to do. It's the Chewy. Oh, wow. Okay. Anyways, interesting. Yeah. I don't think the clone game is going anywhere. I think you're right, John. You can call it whatever you want, the retro upgrades or whatever. I think that as long as there is someone that is willing to take old classic designs and try their best to not disgrace the original design, but to make it a better, more affordable version for someone out there, I think they're always going to be around. And there are a bunch of guns that I would love to see get quote unquote cloned or retroed out. I think it'd be really, really, really cool. We've talked about a bunch of them here, but I don't think the clone game's going anywhere anytime soon. I think it's probably just getting started, honestly. I think you'll see a lot of companies jump into some different designs. I'm really excited about what Gerson has done the last year and possibly to the future with the high power, the P35. Thought they did an excellent job on that. Yeah, like I said, I just picked this up today, the Kiger 9C Pro from Anderson. Phenomenal. 48 hours. My younger brother found a crossbow AR-15 upper several years ago. Interesting.
Twing and Bang did a thing about that.
Now, was that something that someone designed like commercially, or is that just a custom job they did in their own shop?
It was designed commercially. It was
Really?
upper to replace the lower Twing, but it was. God, I'm dating myself a little bit because Twing and Bang's one of the OGs. Oh, stop it! I know you don't care. But yeah, Twing and Bang did an episode about that because it was about the same time that people were coming out with the arrows that you could put 38 and 357 magnums into.
Yeah. G says in 2009, PSC Archery there in Tucson made a crossbow upper for an AR. He's got a link out there if you guys want to watch it. Interesting. I'm going to have to go look at that. I don't remember those. Then again, I'm glad I don't, because if I did, I probably would have bought many of them. Because I think that's just badass. I might have to go and find me a crossbow upper. Put it on Anderson lower and call the Chewy. So, yeah. Chris, I want to bring you in real quick before we get out of here. We're going to start sweeping the floor, turn the lights on at the bar, tell everybody, hey, last call. I know that you are busy. You've got some new stuff that's getting ready to come down the line. If you're able to, what can people look forward to? First of all, go check out Chris with 740's channel on YouTube. Great channel and all of that. But what can people expect to see coming down the line?
I'm sorry, Ghost. I had to walk away for a second.
Oh, I didn't know you were there. I was talking to you, saying I know that you've got a bunch of stuff coming down the line. For stuff that you want to let known publicly right now. What can people maybe expect in the next couple of weeks?
I got a lot more videos coming out with the Beretta A1 Tactical.
You liking it?
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm having a hard time with this one. So
yeah, I hear you.
Kind of made a good. I'm getting a lot of good feedback on it because I'm being honest with everybody about it, and I'm trying to make it a better gun. But yeah, now we got the Kiger. Got a lever action over the weekend for the channel.
Oh snap! What'd you get?
Henry. So
nice.
So I got a bunch of stuff coming up.
What caliber or what cartridge? I should say.
I'm gonna hold off on that.
Oh, okay, I got you. All right, I hear you.
But yeah, nice. It's gonna be fun. I'm super excited to do something with that because it's kind of different from my channel. People aren't used to seeing me review guns like that, so it's gonna be a lot of fun.
I think people would have a heart attack if I had a lever action on my channel. I might have a heart attack.
Thank you so much for having me on. I really appreciate it. It's a great chat tonight.
It was fun. Like I said, I mean, I enjoy having you guys on, and Chris, quit thanking me for having you on. You're part of the show now. You're on every week now, so you're part of the crew. Are you going to be in Tulsa?
Oh yeah.
Okay. And we'll talk after the show because we got something confirmed about an hour ago. Hour before the show. So we'll talk after the show. Cool. But yeah, okay, cool. Ginger, I'm going to let you talk about anything you got going on, anything you want to plug, and obviously the GOA if you want to do that as well.
Yeah, so I've got still working on getting our first 7 YouTube videos edited for our channel, and once that goes live, there'll be a link eventually. So that's getting done. I just picked up another STR9 for review just to see how the full size the full size works to compare it to the micro because I really like
Now,
the
is it full size 6 inches? What is this? The full
it's
size?
It's
5.5 or
little bit bigger than the Glock 19. Not much bigger.
okay, so you're probably talking 4.5, 4 and 3 at maximum 5 inches, 4.5, maybe 4.25, 5, 4.5. Okay, okay, that's not bad.
Nope. So I'm gonna try that out and give that a spin. Launch date for the podcast with GOA is going to be the week before TriggerCon. So as soon as that launches, I will get that name out there. The first episode is one that you're probably not going to want to miss because it's with JB over at EOTech. It was a really good conversation.
Yeah, I bet it was.
Really good conversation with him. So that's coming up. Stay tuned for those. We'd love to get a listen on that podcast. It's a really good episode, and especially to have him on. It was an honor to kind of talk to him and pick his brain for an hour. Other than that, gunowners.org, go there, go support the GOA and the fight for your 2A rights. And we will, anytime I've got any updates, I will gladly pass it along.
Absolutely. Thanks for doing that as well. Kyle, my brother, in case you weren't here, guys, early in the podcast, the incredible 30% off Labor Day sales event site-wide at Anderson has been extended till Friday night at midnight Eastern. I picked up this gun. Chris picked up a Kiger. Site-wide, 30% off. You cannot beat the deals you're going to get over there. Kyle, talk a little bit about what's going on at Anderson, and if there's anything you want to talk about coming down the line, anything like that, you've got the floor for a little bit.
Yeah, aside from the deal, definitely go check that out. But we did start filming our launch video for the bolt action. So, I'm excited. You already know. You already know. I can't tell you anymore. But I did get some trigger time. And
snap.
I'm a little biased, but pretty nice. So, yeah, definitely go check out AndersonManufacturing.com and get in on those deals. And Ghost, thanks again, man. Ghost, Chris, awesome seeing you guys at Kigers. And any of you guys out there who's watching right now, if you've supported us in any way, I appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. I really do.
And it's just a pretty gun. Just a beautiful gun.
I'll even give John props. John did a bang-up video on the Kiger. So
yeah, I don't give him too much. Don't give him too much credit.
Nah, he did. He killed it.
I'm excited. I can't wait to get it out to the range. I'm going to run so many rounds through that thing this weekend.
Good.
I ran 100 through it today at the range, and not one issue, nothing. I ran 2 different boxes of ammo, different types of ammo, and neither one of them were considered like even middle of the road. They were all both like kind of like lower end.
Yeah.
And that's what I like to run through is some lower end stuff to see, well, if it runs this, then other stuff I know it'll run.
Yep.
Not one hiccup, man. Not one hiccup. Feels good. Trigger's great. The details of where you put some of the and I call it grip tape, and I don't know what it is. I call it grip tape because that's just what it looks like to me. It looks like skateboard tape. That's what I always call it. But where y'all put some of the stippling in the grip tape, the details of what you did with that was phenomenal. And still keep it at the price point that you guys have it at, especially with this 30% off. It's stupid. Yeah, great stuff. Yeah, go check out AndersonManufacturing.com. Oh crap, that's funny. Yeah, you guys, thanks for coming on. Guys, if you're watching this in replay or listening to a podcast, the conversation does not have to end. Utilize the comment section. Let us know how crappy we're doing. It is what it is, but maybe give us some pointers on what to make it better. More importantly, just say hi. Let us know that you're out there listening or watching a replay as well. Thanks everyone that showed up live, guys. The live chat was good tonight. Hashtag Pony Express 2024. Utilize that go flood Innocent Manufacturing's posts on social media with the hashtag Pony Express 2024. Go check out the GOA, fighting for your 2A rights, gunowners.org. Tell them John, don't tell them the soulless ginger bastard. Tell them John sent you, and they'll know who that is. And then obviously go check out Chris from the 740 channel. Great content, great stuff, great dude. And I know why he picked ZZ Top earlier. He looks like he should be in ZZ Top. He's got the Dusty Rhodes beard going, faux show. And I'll be seeing you in November. Be seeing John in a couple weeks. Kyle, I need to see you soon, bro. Like, we got to see each other before January, right? We're gonna see each other before January, maybe not. I don't know.
I'm gonna try to link up with you in Arkansas on our way out to Texas.
That's right. That's right. When you're going down, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to hook up with you at that place, but like, if y'all know y'all are gonna stop like for lunch or something, like I can make that happen, because that's about 2.5 hours from me, where that town that you were talking about.
Yeah,
it's about 2.5 hours. But if y'all are coming through from the north, I can hook up with you, at least have a bite to eat or lunch, or just say hey at a gas station or something.
We'll keep counting.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, thanks guys for watching it out there. Thanks guys for the for all the great comments out there. If I act like I ignored you, I didn't mean to, unless you're mic'd, and I absolutely 100% meant to ignore everything that you said. Thank you everyone for showing up. Thank you, Mandatory Carry, for the super chat. I appreciate you, brother. My favorite weirdo, my favorite coastie out there. Go check out Team Never Quit podcast, guys. It's one of the best podcasts out there. Marcus Luttrell, it's amazing. But go check out Team Never Quit podcast. I just happen to be wearing this to the range, and I just noticed that, so I want to shout out them for no other reason, because it's a great podcast. Go check out. There's a bunch of great podcasts out there. More importantly, be a good human being. Be a good citizen. We talk about this all the time. Make sure that you're keeping in tune as what's going on at the state and the local and the federal 2A legislation through gunowners.org or whatever. Make sure that your elected representatives are representing you in the way that you want them to. If not, make sure that you know that they know that there will be repercussions for that. Most importantly, enjoy. There you go. GOA right there. Make sure that you are enjoying your freedoms of being American. One of them is to keep and bear arms. Be a good citizen. Make sure that you're doing things and living your life. The people that gave the ultimate sacrifice would be proud to do so. We'll see you next week. Semper Fi.